Let me ask you something. When was the last time you said, I'm fine, and you meant it? So if you're like me, and other men that I know, I'm fine can mean 100 different things. It can mean I'm exhausted, I'm lost. It could even mean I'm just trying to hold it together for someone else. But really, if ever, does it mean we're actually okay? This season is called Unmasking Men, and in it we're peeling back the layers, not just to ask what you're struggling with, but to ask, who are you when no one's watching? And today we begin by introducing the 10 archetypes of men's mental health. 10 masks that we wear, sometimes without even realising it. So remember, these archetypes, they're not stereotypes, they're not cliches, they're doorways to deeper understanding. And if you stick with me throughout this episode, I think you see yourself in more than one of them. I know I did. So why as men do we wear masks? Men taught at a young age to man up, to hold it in, to lead, to fix, to be the protector. But no one really teaches us how to feel. We're not encouraged to ask for help. We're expected to be the ones who help. So over time we build masks. We become who we think we're supposed to be. Not because we're liars, because it feels safer than being vulnerable. What are some of the reasons we wear the mask? These could be things like the psychological roots of masculine conditioning. From a young age, as boys, we're unconsciously taught the strength is silent. We need to man up. The boys don't cry. To be strong. These are all drummed into us from an early age. The roles of fathers and other role models as we grow up. Many men replicate the emotional behaviour of men figures they grew up with, often emotionally distant, work-driven, or emotionally unavailable. Expressing emotions is often linked with shame, emasculation, or socialization among other male peers. This condition often begins as a way to survive emotionally, but becomes your default identity over time. What's the hidden cost of emotional repression? These can lead to things like physical manifestations, where we suppress our emotions. This can lead to things like stress, heart problems, insomnia, or even substance abuse. When we suppress our feelings, they can block connections, they can hinder trust, and even communications. And these are the lifeblood of healthy relationships. And that leads on to eternal erosion. Over time, pushing your feelings down creates inattention, self-alienation, and even dissociative behaviour. And then that leads on to aggression, or even numbness. It often re-emerges as anger, irritability, or emotional detachment. This has an impact on our mental health. Emotional repression is a known contributor to depression, anxiety, burnout, and in some extreme cases, it can lead to suicidal ideation. What's the difference between a coping mechanism and a mask? Coping mechanism is a tool used to manage stress and trauma. So for example, we go exercising, we write journals, we have dark humour. Healthy coping supports healing or adaptation. The mask is a false identity worn to hide emotional reality. It's not about managing stress, but avoiding truth or vulnerability. For example, being the joker, being the fixer, being the tough guy. Function versus a facade. Coping mechanisms, they're functional. For masks, they're performative. Temporary versus habitual. Coping strategy can be short-term and it can be healthy. But wearing a mask becomes rigid, becomes your identity, and it traps the real you hidden behind it. So get ownership. With coping, we remain self-aware. With masking, we lose touch with our authentic self. Why I'm fine is often a mask. It's an automatic response, I'm fine, becomes a reflex. It's often delivered before we've even checked how we truly feel. It gives us a fear of being a burden. Many men believe sharing is selfish, or it makes them a problem for others. A lot of us men struggle to articulate what's going on emotionally because they were never taught how to. Saying I'm fine is safer than risking judgment, pity, or vulnerability, especially in male-to-male interactions. Behind the words I'm fine can mean I don't know how to talk about it, I don't feel safe here, or even I need help. but I don't know how to ask. Just remember, every mask we wear was built to protect something soft underneath. Right now, say it out loud. I wear a mask, and I want to understand why. If that feels weird for you to say, this season is definitely for you. Let's break down the 10 archetypes we'll be exploring this season. You may find yourself in one or several, and that's okay. This isn't a personality quiz. This is a language for understanding the hidden parts of ourselves. So first we'll look at the king. He's the leader of the pack, the protector, the weight bearer. He crumbles in silence when the crown gets too heavy. Then we'll look at the joker. He's the one who's always cracking jokes, always smiling. He uses dark humour to hide the heartbreak and the fear. And there's the loner. She's detached. He's distant, independent. He avoids connection, not because he doesn't care. It's because he knows it hurts too much. Then we'll look at the addict. This is the one who turns to alcohol, porn, excessive eating, too much work, even turns to substance abuse to numb the pain he can't name. Then we'll look at the perfectionist. He's the one who's driven, meticulous, always chasing the next goal. But inside, he's terrified of being not good enough. Then we'll look at the stoic. He's unshakable, unreadable, always composed. He's always praised for being in control, but he's punished by his own silence. Then we look at the fixer. He's the one who rescues everybody. He's there for everyone, except for himself. He gives endlessly. We can't receive the help offered to him. Then we look at the shadow, the dark shadow. That's the darker self, the angry one, the jealous one. He's bitter. He's ashamed of this one. It's the side of him he never dares to show. And we look at the lost boy. He's the one still trying to find his place in the world. The one who's emotionally stunted. Maybe he's just forgotten. He's the one who wants love but doesn't know how to receive it. And finally we look at the ghost. The ghost is the man who's withdrawn. He's invisible. He's emotionally numb. He's there but he's not. The one who could just fade into the background of his own life. Each of these archetypes is a story. It's a mirror, a map. And we're going to walk through this together. Understanding your archetype isn't about fixing you. You're not broken. It's about giving shape to feelings that have gone unnamed for too long. So how can naming the archetype give men the power to change? When you can name the pattern, you can spot it. Naming the archetype, it's like the loner, the fixer, the stoic even. This gives men a mirror to recognize themselves. Instead of saying things like, I'm broken, a man can say, I've been living as the addict, trying to numb my pain. This opens a door to self-compassion and to change. Naming the archetype isn't about blame. It's about reclaiming yourself. You're not your mask. You're the man behind it. So once identified, the archetype points to deeper needs and wounds. This gives men a practical path towards healing. So what's the danger of living unconsciously? Many men will go years, even decades, operating from unexamined beliefs, emotions, and behaviors they inherited, but they didn't choose. When you don't know what's driving you, can't change direction, emotional avoidance becomes a lifestyle. Without awareness, men often repeat self-sabotaging cycles. They do this in relationships, at work, with their health even. By living unconsciously, this often leads to success on paper, but also leads to deep inner emptiness. The why am I not happy question. Awareness, it can be painful, but it's the first step towards freedom. So what are the links between archetypes and mental health struggles? Well, first we have burnout. This is from being the fixer or the perfectionist. Men who constantly help others or strive for unreachable standards, they wear themselves down emotionally and physically. Then there's depression. This is from being the ghost or the loner. Suppressing emotion or isolating from connection can lead to profound hopelessness. And this addiction. This is the addict or the joker. Many of those men, they use substances, humour, or distractions to mask the pain they get and to avoid inner truth. And this anxiety. This is being the controller or the perfectionist. This anxiety is caused by the need to control everything. This often leads to chronic stress and hypervigilance. And there's the men who suffer from identity confusion. When a man's self-worth is wrapped up in a mask, losing it, the job, the status, their role, this can cause a mental breakdown. So how can we break the cycle and break it for the next generation of other men? When today's men speak openly, they give younger men and younger boys permission to do the same. Having emotional repression, being violent, neglecting others, this often runs generationally. Being aware of it can stop it. Through you healing, this ripples outward. The way you show up emotionally, this can rewrite the emotional DNA for your family. Just remember, you can't heal what you won't face. You're not facing it alone. So what do we do with all this? How do we start unmasking in a world that expects us to keep pretending? Ask yourself, which archetype showed up today? So the purpose of this is to build daily self-awareness and reduces unconscious behaviour. At the end of the day, pause in front of the mirror or just sit quietly and reflect. Ask yourself, who was driving me today? Was it the perfectionist? Was it the stoic, the loner? Identify one moment where you acted from a mask instead of your authentic self. Why does this work? Naming the archetype disconnects identity from behaviour. It promotes accountability without shame. So a tip to yourself, write it down. Over time you'll start to see patterns that can help you shift. Try saying one uncomfortable truth out loud each day. Purpose of this, builds emotional muscle or making honesty a habit. Choose one thing that feels risky to admit, even to yourself. Say it out loud in a safe place. For example, I feel lost right now. I'm scared I'm failing. I miss my kids. Then, if you're feeling up for it, share with someone you trust. Why this works. Being truthful is disarming. It breaks the illusion of the mask. Over time, speaking the truth builds inner strength, not weakness. And here's a tip for you again. Start small. It's not about dramatic confessions. It's about being authentic and having a connection with yourself. What's the brotherhood effect? Well, just find another man you can talk to, and talk to without judgment. Connection, it dissolves shame. When you reach out to that one trusted friend, your brother, a mentor, agree on a judgment-free zone. There's no advice, no fixing. Simply share what's real. Let the other person do the same. Male vulnerability creates mutual strength. Being heard without being solved is deeply healing. And for a tip, set a time, even once a month, for a truth session with another man. So the pause, slow down, let yourself feel what you usually suppress. This interrupts the automatic reactions, numbing, anger, avoidance. When you feel triggered, anxious, overwhelmed even, pause for 90 seconds. Ask yourself, what's really going on under this reaction? Take a breath. Feel the emotion in your body. Don't rush it away. Why this works? Emotions last longer when ignored. They pass quicker when they're felt. The pause, it creates space between stimulus and response, which is where the power lies. Try to pair this with journaling or a short walk just to process what's coming up. So I'm going to give you a quick reflective exercise. Get a piece of paper and a pen. Write down which of these archetypes hits hardest for you. What did it stir in you? Write about it, talk about it. Just don't ignore it. So what's coming up? Each episode we're going to dive deep into one archetype at a time. Real stories, real struggle, real healing. I'll share with you my mask and I invite you to take off yours too. So next episode is the king. The pressure to lead, to provide, and the loneliness wearing the king mask breeds. If this resonated with you, share it. Share with a man who might need to hear it. Not to fix him, but to say, I see you, bro. And if you've been wearing one of these masks for too long, this is your invitation to take it off. Not all at once, but just enough to breathe. This isn't therapy. This might be the first honest conversation you've had in a while. Next week we sit with the king, the burden, the image, the cracks beneath the crown. Remember, you're not alone, you're not broken, and you're not done growing. This is raw and real beyond the mask. And I'm Big Dave. I'll see you next time. Love you all.